Smackdown review for the August 16th episode of Smackdown. I'm Will, that's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. As always, let's cheers and talk about some wrestling, eh?
Yeah, we get another Roman return.
Mm-hmm.
We're like, okay.
A little bit more spice.
What are we going to get with this one? There's got to be a little bit more spice to it.
Mm-hmm.
And there was some stuff before that.
There was some stuff.
That's how we'll word that.
There was some stuff. So the Smackdown begins with the Nia Jax celebration brought to you by Tiffany Stratton and Pretty Deadly with Pretty Deadly.
Mm-hmm.
The ring is covered in a pink mat and it's got pink balloons and unicorn balloons and
Yep.
It's not looking very Nia-ish, but it's a celebration for Nia.
No, but it's looking pretty Tiffany, you know?
She did a good job.
Yeah.
She did a good job.
Yeah.
Spent $bucks.
She had a special pink microphone looking thing. Yeah.
Spared no expense. She said it's Tiffy time to celebrate. And she says without wasting time, they're gonna bring Nia out. They bring her out. She comes out in a guys are lifting her up in like a queen's chair, and she's got the crown on, and she's got the championship belt. She gets the queen and champion entrance, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
When she gets in the ring, she notices the set is all pink. And she notices everything is pink, 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 pink.
Mm-hmm.
And she says, you know what, Tiffy, I'm glad you did this, but you shouldn't have done this because this is sort of just not my style. She said, my style is more about destruction, like when I destroyed Bayley at SummerSlam and became champion. She said, I am the queen now and your champion. Everybody should bow down. And when she says that, she says, who would be better to bow down first? How about you, Tiffany?
Mm-hmm.
And Tiffany's like, oh, you want me to bow? You want me to bow? And Pretty Deadly's already bowing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're in the corner already bowing. But Tiffany's like, yeah, sure. I'll bow for you after Pretty Deadly perform a song dedicated to your name. And she's like, okay. Nia's like, okay, whatever. And Pretty Deadly go on and they sing it. They call it, the song is called Ode to the Princess or Ode to the Queen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sing it. It's not going to happen. Anyway, they start to sing and dance, and the whole thing is praising Nia. And yeah, I mean, it's as corny as you would believe, but it was pretty funny. But as they're singing and dancing, Mi Shin out of nowhere with a kendo stick. She batters Tiffy on her way in, hits Pretty Deadly real quick, and then starts to batter Nia with it. She hits Nia like 10 times with it. They get out of the ring. She hits Pretty Deadly one more time, each just for good measure, and she's standing in the ring. That's her moment. And this was the beginning of the show from start to finish. And I'm going to go ahead and drop this, actually. I am going to drop this. I was actually looking forward to this, especially with Tiffy leading the charge in it when we heard about it last week. I just think it was a miss. I think it was very like high school play-esque. Like there was absolutely no room for freedom with any of these people. You could tell that they were all just following a script line by line, which I know that's a lot of wrestling promos, but this just felt like they were constricted.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that maybe we have to temper our expectations with Tiffany, at least. I know Tiffany is, at least from what I've seen on main roster, it's very script.
Yes.
Point A, point B,
yes.
Point C. So I would like to see her maybe go out on a limb, even if she does fail a few times. Yeah. Just try it. I'm going to drop this as well. This felt like a very Vince-esque opening to me.
It did.
And as we've talked about a little bit before, there was a time and a place years and years and years ago for the corny stuff. We've been getting so much good stuff now that it's like we could have just done without this.
Yeah, and I'm actually all for the corny stuff every once in a while and the funness, the Santino Morella's of wrestling being a part of it. But I think that you have to earn your moments. And like, I don't think that Pretty Deadly's done anything on the main card for me to be like, okay, now you guys can sing and dance and I can still respect you as a tag team. Like, I'm not saying that singing and dancing doesn't make me respect them, but they look dumb here. Like Mi Shin walked in and just battered them too. It's like, what are we doing? Like everybody in that ring looked dumb. And the choice of Mi Shin being the next opponent for Nia is something. I just wish her main card character was more than just the girl with the kendo stick, because she's respected on NXT and has put on great shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and before we go on, like you talk about the corny stuff, like R-Truth.
Yeah.
He does corny, funny stuff. And,
Right.
And it works.
Yeah.
I think that they try to have that element on SmackDown. They don't have anybody to really do that.
Yeah.
Pretty deadly. Like I said before, I not a fan right now. As for Michin, I know in the Discord you had mentioned, or somebody had mentioned who's going to ruin the party or the surprise or whatever celebration.
Yeah.
And my first thought was Michin, because it just kind of seemed that was hidden or noted or whatever you want to say. It's a feud.
Yeah.
Like you said, I wish they'd build her up a little bit more so I could take her seriously. But I know that the match is going to be good.
Oh, 100%. Nothing against Michin. It's just how she's booked here is a little eh.
Yeah.
We go backstage. Jade, Bianca, and Naomi are watching this celebration collapse, and they're laughing about it. They find it hilarious. But then they snap out of it real quick, and they focus on Jade, Bianca, say next week they're going to take back their tag titles. So I guess they might have a tag team title match or something coming up. No. Next week they have the 6-woman tag match. It's Naomi, Jade, and Bianca taking on Blair, Isla, and Alba next week. But this week, it's all about Naomi taking on Blair Davenport. And they're like, yeah, our eyes are set on this. And then Carmelo Hayes shows up and he's like, you guys are talking about winning matches and celebrations. How about you come on by to my celebration after I beat Andrade tonight? And I think Naomi was like, isn't he up?
Jade.
Was it Jade? Jade was like, he's up 2-0 on you. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And then they walk away and he's like, well, at least they watch.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was a nice little line.
Yeah. But this would lead right into our Andrade versus Melo round 3 match. As we say, Andrade's up 2-0. So I don't know how many matches they're going for here, but they keep on saying 2-0. So I guess they're going like a 7-game series or something. I don't know.
That's what I at least would hope for. I hope they make it that would be my thing. Just announce that it's a 7 match, because my logic going into this one was, well, he's up 2-0. If I'm up 2-0, I'm not giving you a third match. Like, I beat you twice already. Well, unless you're doing a 7.
And in wrestling, it's normally a three match thing. Like in wrestling, it's a program is normally 3 matches. So it's
but it's
weird.
also like interesting because it's like if you do a 7 match series, usually there's something there. This is one of the first times that I'm not saying that I hate it, because we talk about there needs to be feuds without belts, but
yeah.
I don't remember a 7 match series with nothing at the end.
Yeah, I'm cool with it. They put on bangers.
Yeah.
And this was no change in that. The whole story here was obviously this is their 3rd match in less than a month. So they all know each other's moves. So a lot of this is reversals, back and forth. Melo is very motivated, obviously, to beat Andrade at the beginning. So he comes out very hot. He would dominate until he would dominate Andrade with a springboard clothesline. Melo was doing what Melo does. Dude is a high-flying acrobatic god, and Andrade can do the same thing in matches. So match made in heaven here. Andrade would do a moonsault from the 2nd turnbuckle to the outside of the ring on Melo. Awesome stuff. And then they would both get up on the opposite turnbuckle in the ring. Spanish fly from the top. Looked nasty because Melo's kind of legs landed first, which is a little weird, or not weird, but dangerous. The back and forth would happen kind of toward the end of the match, or the last third of the match. They would trade high flying moves. It was basically a showcase of both guys, and it was absolutely wonderful. Andrade would go for the message, his finisher, but Melo would get a roll up pin. 1, 2, 3. Melo would steal game 3 here. But afterward, it was not over because Melo would gloat. He was gloating. He made the ref, raise his arm 5 times. And Andrade had enough. So Andrade attacked. And the officials, Nick Aldis, everybody came out to separate him into this. We just talked about the 7-game series or whatever they're doing there. But these two in the ring, bell to bell, is just great. I'm going to watch it every day of the week. Pop.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. Like I said, you can sign me up for this any day. The match quality is always really good. It's nice to have this match in there where we know each other a little bit. So let's have the reversal one. I like that. I like when wrestlers do that. They call back to other matches. It flows. sometimes you get it where wrestlers might wrestle 3-4 matches and
they all look the same.
Yeah. So I like that element in this one specifically. Melo gets a much needed win here. He's obviously was down 2-0. Now it's 2-1. Probably, like we said, do a best of 7. And it's a good way to keep both guys on TV. You need something like that right now. And no complaints. I don't know when the next one would be, but
I'm okay. I'm hoping Melo wins the series, and I'm hoping that he doesn't get a clean win until the final match. Like they should do this type of stuff where he gets roll ups and maybe like a count out, like those type of scrappy, wins, and then the final match he finally beats Andrade. That would be the right way to go for me. Anyway, we go to our first Bloodline backstage segment. It's just Solo and Tama Tonga tonight. Because Tonga Loa got smashed last week during the Roman attacks, and obviously Jacob Fatu took his ankle at SummerSlam. So it's just those two, and Tama Tonga walks up to Solo and he brings him the lei. And he basically says, hey, if Roman shows up tonight, I'll handle him. Tama Tonga says that. And Solo's like, I'm going to preface the night with, this was a very good night for Solo. I liked Solo's work tonight.
I thought he did really well.
And it started here. He said, no. When Roman comes here, I am the tribal chief. I will handle this. And he says that if Roman takes this lei, he will then become your tribal chief, and you will acknowledge him, and I will acknowledge him. We will acknowledge him. But he said, that's if he can take these off of me. And then the camera pans away. Just good work there. And that's a cool twist to this that I didn't really see. The lei's always been something big, but it, it never felt that meaning, like to the pop, the general audience, like me. I mean, I never saw the lei as being like a title-esque thing, but now it is.
Yeah. I like that element, and I do like Solo saying like, well, if he does take this, you acknowledge him. I acknowledge him. I really liked that tonight from Solo.
Yeah. We then would get our Naomi versus Blair Davenport match, which I actually was sort of looking forward to, just because it's been weeks and weeks of this weird build-up with no payoff of it. They obviously had the first match, and I think Naomi won off of like a roll-up or something. I don't remember. It was like a month ago. But since then, Blair's attacked her on multiple occasions, and Naomi's attacked her as well to help Jade and Bianca. So this is kind of our payoff match here. Naomi would dominate early, though. She would hit her rear view, and then she would actually do something cool. She'd go to the apron and do like her split drop off the apron onto Blair Davenport, and I was like, okay, that's pretty nice. Blair would turn the momentum, though, during the break, but they would show it. She would do a top rope double leg stomp that hit like the back of Naomi's head. Yeah, it was nasty looking. I will say that the middle of this match got really sloppy. There was lots of just off stuff. So like Hurricane Rana's where Naomi fell before she could do like the full kick of the Hurricane Rana. They did like a double cross body into each other as I hit the mic, a double cross body into each other. It just kind of got a little bit sloppy in the middle here. But the end of the match would come. Blair would go to the corner, do another stomp, just kind of a one-legged stomp. And then she would take both of Naomi's hands and just kick her in the face. 1, 2, 3. Blair Davenport clean win here. I am going to go ahead and drop this. I think that I was expecting more from these two in terms of just match quality. I liked Blair Davenport's finish. That is a nasty finisher, if that's what it's going to be, just kicking people in the face. Yeah. That looks nasty, and I like that. But I just think that these two should have put on a little bit more of a show. It's just one of those things where the match didn't click for me. Yeah. The little knee finish from her is just brutal looking. Yeah, it is. So if we get to see more of that, hometown hero, I guess you'd say, Naomi, and then in her hometown. Oh yeah, I didn't catch that. So yeah, you're right. Thinking about that, I was like, okay, she's gonna be really over. And then I was like, it'd be really cool if Blair gets the win here, and they did. And I was like, that's awesome. I like that. So just for that, I'm going to pop this one. There you go. I'm going to give it some credit. I'm going to give this one a little bit more of a chance here. I've been kind of down on this one for Naomi and Blair. I think something with the feud, kind of like this match for you, hasn't clicked for me. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I couldn't tell you
what specifically, because Naomi's kind of in like a weird spot. She's in like this singles thing, but then she's friends with Jade and Bianca, and it's just kind of, and then like, a month ago though, she was also like backstage. Well, I guess it was Money in the Bank time, but like with Bailey talking there, she's just kind of like everybody's friend backstage, I guess, is kind of her character. And I feel like she needs something. She needs more substance to her.
I don't think there's any emotion in any of the rivalries for Naomi right now. Right. Like you're right. She's everybody's friend and she's great. I mean, she's obviously over. She walks out, crowd loves her. And she's, especially in the international crowds, Naomi's one of the bigger female superstars. But it just feels like there's no actual raw emotion into her feud. Like it feels like it doesn't feel like she would gain or lose anything from losing or winning these matches. It just feels like, oh, Naomi will just be here next week anyways. Instead of there being actual stakes to her like career in terms of, you know, her moving up or down the food chain of the women's division. Yeah. So I just need a little bit more like oomph from her character, you know, some anger, some, you know, hatred toward her opponent. Some reason for me to care. That's what I need.
Yeah, and I'm specifically popping this one just because it was in her hometown and she took the loss.
Yeah,
I mean, if it was in like Salt Lake City or whatever, I'd be like, okay, it was just another match. But I like it when the hometown face loses.
Oh, it's always fun
because it can really get some heat on a heel, and Blair kind of needs that. I mean, I know Blair, at least on the internet, people like Blair, but that hasn't really translated to like live crowds yet.
Yeah.
We haven't really got to see a lot of Blair. So I think that was a smart choice by them. And like I said, I'll give it another chance.
Yeah. We moved on. A-Town Down Under is backstage. Grayson Waller is still complaining to Austin Theory for getting him this match against Kevin Owens this week. And Theory's like, what are you talking about, dude? You're about to be on SmackDown. This is a chance for you. And Waller kind of switches his mind. He's like, yeah, and Kevin Owens is a loser too. Like, why am I scared of Kevin Owens? Like, why does he even deserve a title match? He hasn't won anything in years. He's a loser. He goes on. He talks about his age, basically, and just starts destroying all of Kevin Owens' recent career, like the last year and a half of his career. And, you know, the camera pans, and, of course, Kevin Owens is standing behind him. And Kevin Owens is like, sarcastically pissed but happy. Like, he's doing that thing where he's like, so mad. He's like, yeah, you're totally right. I haven't won anything. All I am is a loser. I don't deserve this championship match. Yeah. Let's go prove it. You're going to beat me tonight. You're going to beat me in that ring. So let's just go out and do it. Let's go out and do it. And then he walks out. I was like, oh, okay, this is pretty good. This is pretty good. And that match would happen. And I thought this match was an absolute, I loved it. Kevin Owens and Grayson Waller. So obviously KO is pissed because he just heard this young dude talking trash in the hallway. And he basically thinks that nobody thinks he deserves anything. He comes out, he stomps a mud hole into Grayson Waller. He does that thing where he throws him in the corner and does the rolling thunder like to him in the corner when he's on the turnbuckle or laying on the turnbuckle. Waller would roll out of the ring, but KO would chase him. And a lot of this match would actually take place on the outside of the ring, and the ref never counted once. Just pointing that out.
Not true.
KO might have rolled into the ring one time to stop the count. It was like they were out there for like 5 minutes. I don't want to hear it. Whatever.
There's one spot that I'm sure you'll talk about that I'll put my input on the ring counting at that point.
Well, yeah. So KO would have the upper hand here. He'd throw Waller off the barricade. He would, throw him onto the announce table. All that stuff. Dominate. But when he rolls him back into the ring, Theory obviously gets involved because Theory's like, okay, my boy's getting destroyed. And when Theory distracts him, Grayson Waller would do a baseball slide drop kick, hit Kevin Owens, but he would get out of the ring, hit KO again, but then he would jump over the barricade and sit in a chair like next to the crowd, and he would just be gloating, put his hands behind his head. He was like, yeah, I'm here. And KO would pop up from behind. It was a really good scene.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking about.
Yeah,
so like
no count.
So
no counting.
So that happened. And I'm like, first of all, why the hell are you just sitting in a chair? Like that was my first thought. I was like, this doesn't do anything. And then the slow Kevin Owens like stand up with the shot. Great shot.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But then, Kevin pulls him back over and they start fighting, and they're closer to this point now to the ring where I can hear the ref. And the ref's like 3, and I'm like, no chance. Grayson Waller was just outside for 10 seconds by himself. What are we doing?
I thought we were going to commercial break. That's how long it lasted.
I really thought when he sat in the chair before Kevin rises up, like I was like, okay, cool. He's going to sit in the chair, commercial break.
Yeah, me too.
No,
it didn't happen. So I was like, dude, we've been out here for like 5 minutes. Somebody count. Somebody count. Anyway, while KO would kind of beat him up right after that moment, Waller would actually get the upper hand. He would DDT KO to the outside of the ring onto the floor. And then he would throw him into the ring and do the thing where he goes on to the second turnbuckle and then walks the rope. Mm-hmm. So like a third out of the rope and then do like a springboard elbow drop. Grayson Waller's got a cool moveset. I like his moveset.
He's always fun to use in the games.
He's not the cleanest wrestler in the ring, I know, but some of his moveset, it's like that's good stuff. I like.
He's fun to use in the games. Between his signature finisher where he always rolls through. I always like it when he runs and rolls through the ropes.
Speaking of that, he tries that finisher. I forget what it's called.
I don't know what it's called.
But it's the one where he's outside the ring and then he rolls through the ropes and tries to go for his own stunner, but. Of course, KO has a stunner too. So he rolls through the ropes and KO kicks him, catches him with a stone cold stunner. KO stunner, I guess. I don't know. But picks him back up, doesn't use the stunner as a finish, which kind of makes me mad. Just saying. If you're going to use Stone Cold's finisher, man, it's a finisher. But I digress. He'd pick him up, throw him off the ropes, pop up powerbomb, 1, 2, 3. Kevin Owens wins. But the good stuff happens afterward. KO isn't done. So KO is sitting there and he's still... The adrenaline's going. He's still pissed about everything. And he attacks Grayson Waller. He goes after Waller. He throws him outside the ring, and he would go for an apron power bomb that he normally does, where he picks guys up and throws them against the apron, but Waller would stop him. Waller would get KO into the ring, and then he would quickly go Theory would throw KO in the ring, and Theory would quickly go and get 2 chairs for Waller and him. And they would get into the ring and kind of surround KO until adrenaline in my soul. Mr. Cody Rhodes, he shows up. He runs into the ring. I must have missed it, but he goes in the ring because he's running with the title. He drops the title in the middle of the ring, and somehow they get the chairs. They just like kick them. They do. Okay.
Yeah, they both each kick Waller in Theory, and they just drop the chair.
That's like when you get the chair in the video game.
It was literally like a reversal in the video game. That was all it was.
So then Cody and KO have the chairs, and A-Town Down Under kind of just leave. But
after they get hit, do
they get hit?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember them swinging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I must have just missed this 30 seconds of TV.
Yeah, you were saying the good stuff happens, and then you blacked out for the good stuff. They each get kicked, and then they both do that thing where they stand there where they're bent over and they're waiting, and then they at the same time they hit the chairs.
Anyway, the very interesting thing here, though. So after they roll out of the ring, Cody sees his belt laying in the ring, and he goes to pick up his belt, but KO picks it up. And KO just stands there with it and is looking at the belt with it in his hand. And then he just walks over to Cody, hands Cody the belt, walks out. Cody this entire time is giving KO a very disappointing look, like you're better than this kind of look. But between the match and the after stuff, this is absolutely great. I pop it.
Yeah, I'm going to pop this as well. I don't have as much of a problem with KO not going for the pin with the stunner this time because the pop-up powerbomb, I can't remember the last time I've seen him do that.
Didn't just do that, though.
And no, let him do all of it. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. I personally like the pop-up powerbomb after the stunner. I thought that it made a lot of sense, like a throwback for Kevin to really feel like this match was Kevin has kind of lost himself throughout the last, I don't know, year or how long you want to say. And he really felt like the old Kevin Owens here. And so that's why that's why I don't have a problem with the stunner into the pop-up powerbomb because that's what he always used to do. So to see that again was really nice. Waller, like you said, has a really good moveset. Teasing that breakup still, so that's good. We got to see Cody in a cutoff with not in a suit. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw that.
He was there for wrestling.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you last. I was like, he looks completely different in just a cutoff.
Well, he came out like a month ago. He came out in that ugly shirt with the giant logo, which is really cut off. I hate that shirt, but
I think that was the same shirt.
Was it? I hate that shirt. But what I want to point out here is I love this way of doing KO more than a heel turn. This isn't like a full heel turn. It's more of just he's pissed off. He's still a good guy at heart, but he's just mad at everybody for not believing in him, or even him for not believing in himself. And I think that's a lot more interesting than just randomly going, okay, hit Cody Rhodes now and become a heel.
Yeah. We were all thinking about the heel turn, I guess, for Kevin. Mm-hmm. I don't know if we get that. I think now, like you said, it's just kind of old Kevin Owens, which I like. So if it's like this, where he brings that kind of intensity again and he does some kind of his older moves and really does well in the ring again, I'm going to like it. And then you probably have Randy lose his, and then Randy probably turns. It's probably how they're going to end up doing this.
Probably.
Which is probably better anyway, because KO, whether he is a heel or a face, he's kind of the same guy. The only time he wasn't was when he was the U.S. champ. And he came out like the suits and stuff.
I love that era. That was good.
That was cool. But he's not going to do that again.
No.
So,
yeah. We would then get a bunch of small promo segments. So Solo again backstage. Tama Tonga would put the lay back on him. Dude keeps taking the lay on and off. But he would just say, tonight, Roman needs to acknowledge me. Then we get a Santos Escobar promo video. He's eating dinner with Legado del Fantasma. And he says, next week, I take the U.S. title from LA Knight. They forgot the taste of fear. Let's remind them who we are. And at that note, LA Knight would come out. He would just come to the stage, though, not all the way to the ring. Yeah. And he would say, Santos, I'm going to BFT you and drop your churros in the dirt. That's what he says.
Yeah.
He says, I don't have the time for you, but I will make time for you. This week, next week, any week. I will put you in the trash. Yeah. Very quick LA Knight segment. He goes back. Nothing more there. Just
nothing more.
Here's LA Knight. Go back in there.
Yeah, exactly. And then Escobar stuff. They got the Escobar C in again.
Yeah, they got the Escobar C.
So I like that.
Yeah.
Nice quick.
Another quick. So we were just going through it. Basically because the last two parts of the night were great. They were trying to get there. And Michin is backstage with Chelsea and Piper Niven. And Chelsea and Piper were like, that was awesome that you did that earlier. We were thinking about doing it, but, we just did it. And Michin's like, well, you freaking should have. I'm so happy I did because Nick Aldis gave me a match. And they're like, what?
Yeah, she gets a title match.
Yeah, she gets a title match at Bash at Berlin. Chelsea and Piper obviously are like, what? They go in to talk to Nick Aldis, and then Nia Jax attacks Michin. She just shoves her really hard into the wall. Michin takes a good bump there, and Nia's kind of yelling at her as like, there's an official back there and security, and they kind of like, no, and they break it up. But I mean, we talk about it all the time with that kind of stuff. It's like, why didn't everybody just attack the champ then?
Yeah, I don't know. And this one was weird for me because she comes out of the office, and then I guess that's the little things. Chelsea and Piper are like, well, we're going to go talk to Nick. So then they go in there.
Yeah.
And then Nia obviously pushes Michin into the door. And then, like, as the camera's zooming in on Michin, when Michin's on the ground, Nia goes into the office as well. Like, obviously,
I didn't see that.
Obviously, it's just the scene. Like, she's just trying to get out of the way of the shot. But I'm like, but everybody's just a big old party in Nick Aldis' office.
There seems to be a lot of SmackDown. It's always a party in Aldis' office. Always. We then would get just a phenomenal, I'm going to give it like a 5-star tag team match here, especially for a SmackDown, dude. We get the number one contender match between the Street Profits and DIY. This was as good as you could imagine it being. So Montez Ford and Gargano would start the match, and they would kind of put on like I call it like an AEW reversal fest, which you rarely get it in WWE, so it looks pretty good here, but where they just were swinging moves at each other and just doing acrobatic reversals, springboards and stuff like that. Just really good athletic stuff here. But this match was a shining moment for Angelo Dawkins. I think
everybody,
everybody, but I thought he absolutely shined this match. My Lord, we always talk about Montez Ford and we give him his flowers, and obviously Tez was phenomenal here, but Dawkins was just, everybody was on the top of their game here. But Dawkins and Tez would get the advantage on Tommaso Ciampa. They would do a double flapjack, and then they would do Dawkins to get outside the ring and do his outside the ring blitz is what they call it, kind of like his version of the Braun Strowman outside running.
Before we go any farther, when he started doing that, I was like, everybody's got one. Braun's got one. He's got one. Ludwig's got one. Braun Breaker's got one.
We need John Cena to have one. Like
a
5-knuckle shuffle where he runs around the entire
It just is like, good Lord.
Gargano would switch the momentum when he would get one of his rope spears to Tez, and Tommaso Ciampa would get tagged in, and he would actually have both Tez and Dawkins in the corners, and he'd be doing his clotheslines until Dawkins was like, hell no, I'm done with this. And he'd pick him up and they would do a tag team move on him to stop that momentum.
I'm pretty sure that move was he shoulder tackles him up basically into like a German suplex from
Tez.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was freaking awesome.
It was really cool looking.
This was a fast-paced back and forth match. Obviously, I said Dawkins is shining here. There was a moment where Dawkins was outside the ring on one side and Ciampa was on the outside of the ring one time, and Tez and Gargano looked at each other on opposite sides of the ring and they're like, worth it, and they both suicide dive to the other guy. Just really good stuff. Tez would go for a 450 splash, but Tommaso Ciampa would get his knees up, and Gargano would run in the ring, and they would actually shatter machine Tez. 1-2, pin broken up by Dawkins, and then DIY would hit the DIY would hit the meat in the middle, and the Profits would stop it, but then they would hit their finisher, and then that pin would get broken up. So we have back-to-back finishers that get broken up in the middle of pins. Match continues. Dawkins gets in the ring. Ciampa and Gargano are both in the ring, and they actually hit the fairy tale ending 1-2 kick out from Dawkins. Massive pop from the crowd here. People going absolutely wild. Gargano would then go for his between the ropes spear again, and Dawkins would reverse it into a big DDT. They would do the blockbuster. Him and Tez would do the blockbuster to Gargano, and the Street Profits would actually win this match. I thought there was no chance that they were going to win this match. I thought DIY was just a shoe-in to get those titles back. Huge Street Profit fan. Love it. Pops all the way around, man. This match slapped.
Yeah, it's going to be a pop. If you haven't seen the match itself, I'd go watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, at least for main roster-wise, match of the year candidate, I would say. Especially like in terms of a weekly, like if you want to break it down just on SmackDown, just on Raw, like one of the best matches, if not the best match I've seen on just one of those shows.
I would say it's the best match of the year.
I mean,
on Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, it's fantastic. Like you said, everybody looked good. It's really cool to see two tag teams that people really like to watch, whether you, it doesn't matter who you're rooting for, honestly. Like I was going back and forth. Like I'm not the biggest DIY fan, but I was like, oh man, like they're so good in the ring. They're so fluid. They have so many cool tag team moves. And then Street Profits, obviously a fan of them. Back and forth, I'm just like, this match is great. This is fantastic. Shocked to say the least, probably, about Street Profits getting the win.
Thank God.
But it's nice because now it's like, okay, maybe they are taking that next step. They're going to face the Bloodline for those tag titles whenever. And I'm thinking they'd take them off of
Yes, 100%.
I think that they have to now.
After watching that match, you would have to be a fool if Roman or somebody didn't screw the Bloodline out of those titles during that match, and then you just immediately run DIY back. And at a pay-per-view, put the tag team titles on the line at what is it, Bad Blood, if they somehow end in a title match here at Bash at Berlin, because that would make logical sense, right? That there's a tag team title match on the pay-per-view, but get the titles to Montez and Dawkins, and then you run it with DIY and just freaking give me a ladder match. Give me anything, dude. That I can't wait. This match was the expectations blow to the roof. Yeah,
I mean, so we talked a little bit about with Andrade and Carmelo, like best of 7 or whatever. I wouldn't be opposed to seeing something like that this. The only thing that you run into there is like you get the same stuff week after week after week, so you'd have to space them out properly,
especially after this match.
Yeah, like maybe you have Melo and Andrade go 1 week, and then maybe the next week you have
I agree.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a whole, like I need to see this more. I need to see it for the tag titles. I need to see it as honestly as much as they want to put it on TV.
With stipulations. These tag teams scream, do fun stuff with them.
Yeah.
Do your ladder matches, do your tornado tags, do your crazy tag team stuff that we used to get. These teams could do it.
Yeah, they could do it, and it would make me think of, well, I mean, I know they've done it multiple times in the past, but like when Edge and Christian fought the Hardy Boys, and it was a best of 5, I believe, and it ended at a pay-per-view, like 2v2, like whoever wins this gets the tag titles and gets, I don't know, they had some stipulation about a manager. Terry Reynolds.
Oh, yeah.
Get the services of her or whatever.
God, I forgot about her.
Yeah. weird callback, but you could do like a best of 5, best of 7, something like that with this.
Yeah.
It would be fun. It would be a way to where like, yeah, the Profits can technically keep titles. So it's a long reign like Triple H likes to have, but you have fun matches. It's a series back and forth and you get a best of 5 and people are going to love that.
And we're going to get Street Profits side plates. I'm excited for
You're
that.
have to buy them for
dude. I would love to.
something.
I would absolutely love to get a tag team belt with the Street Profits side plates. Are you kidding me, dude? I'll end it here, but I think the world of both of them. I really do. I think that they are an all-time. They have potential to be an all-time tag team. We would then get our final segment of the night, which was the chef's kiss. The absolute chef's kiss to this night. Solo, he comes out to call out Roman Reigns. He walks out ready to fight. His ring gear. He's wearing the lei, of course, but it's just him and Tama Tonga because everybody else hurt. So he comes out and he does a very soft acknowledge me again. Orlando, acknowledge me. And then, of course, boo and F you, Solo, or we can't hear anything because Fox bleeps it. But he goes, you know what? He goes, I see how it is, Orlando. You don't want to acknowledge me. And he goes, fine. But one person here tonight will acknowledge me. He goes, Roman Reigns, you call yourself the OTC. If you want this lei, come get it. Tribal Chief entrance. Man, Roman's got that aura. I know it's a cliche thing to say right now. Aura is always, it's everywhere, but good Lord. And now like at the beginning of his music, when the bass drops or when the beat drops and it goes dun, 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 the fireworks are on the drop. It's like,
yeah. I don't really like saying people have like aura. I think, like you said, I think it's cliche. I think it's stupid, but yeah.
Roman is it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna say it, Roman Reigns. Anyway, here comes Roman. He gets into the ring and there's a stare down, and Solo doesn't back down. He doesn't move a step. All he does is he takes his lei off. He hands it to Tama Tonga, and Tama kind of becomes this barking dog where he kind of goes back. He kind of he wants Roman, and Solo stops him and he tells him to get in the corner. Put baby in a corner for a minute, and fight begins. They start wailing on each other, and it's just a good old hockey fight where they got one arm on the other guy and they're just wailing with the other hand. And Roman would get the advantage. He would push Solo off and he would clothesline Solo big time. And when he clotheslined Solo and Solo hits the mat, Tama Tonga would get involved, and Roman would do like a rock bottom-esque where he wouldn't fall with Tama. He would just do like the rock bottom where he throws him. Very brutal looking move. I like it a lot.
Yeah, we keep struggling with him. I think Uranagi. I think it's Uranagi,
but it's whatever. It's a rock bottom.
Saying, people on the internet are going to criticize you. I don't
care.
Or you could say the bookend,
the Roman bottom.
The bookend with no fall.
Yeah, that's true. Roman would not want to stop here. He'd go outside the ring and he would start to clear the announce table. But Solo would stop him, and Solo would actually get the advantage of him here. He would kind of just beat him up on the outside of the ring for a second, and then he would throw Roman into the ring, and he would go for a Samoan spike. But when he throws a spike, Roman ducks it, bounces off the ropes, and hits a Superman punch. And then he'd go into the corner. We've now seen this the third time, right? Superman punch into the corner, the big loaded up, the whole crowd does it. Hits Solo with a spear. And the lei is laying in the middle of the ring, and Roman would walk up to it. He'd take his time. He'd pick it up. He'd put it on himself. Crowd is going wild. Music hits. You think the night is over? Jacob Fatu with a huge super kick out of nowhere to Roman's mouth.
With his boot.
He's wearing his boot on his injured ankle. Yeah, that was really nice. Fatu is here. He super kicks Roman. He throws Roman into the ring post really hard, and it kind of looked like it kind of like in Looney Tunes when the birds are spinning around Roman's head. He's kind of like, he would then do like the thing where Roman's laying on the turnbuckle and you do like the running butt. I don't know what you call it, but they would take Roman to the outside of the ring, and Solo and the Bloodline would do the Shield power bomb through the announce table. And Fatu would drag the Tribal Chief into the ring, lay him dead center in the middle of the ring. Bloodline poses. They put the lei back on Solo Sikoa. Bloodline destroys Roman Reigns here. This is exactly what I wanted to see from the moment Roman returned at SummerSlam. I wanted to see the bloodline just impose themselves on Roman, make it feel like Roman is outnumbered, make it feel like our tribal chief needs help, and that's exactly what this did.
Yeah, I'm gonna pop this. I mean, I don't know how you couldn't.
Yeah.
Top to bottom, Solo did really well. Tama Tonga played his role really well. Roman obviously is Roman Reigns. So you get the I like in the beginning where they just like Solo's like, nah, it's just me and him, and they start fighting.
Yeah.
Like I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You get the big moves from Roman. The crowd's still super behind him. He puts the lay on, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, at least he put the lay on. Like that's cool. And then obviously Jacob Fatu comes out of nowhere and destroys Roman single-handedly. Obviously the rumor is, or I guess the report, they want to keep them off TV. So Fatu's hurt. So they don't have to really choose to pick a side here. But this was done perfectly. Roman's facial expression too, when he gets that running butt to the face, and he's laying there and he's like, it's meme worthy. It'll be a meme.
It's just like, when's the last time we saw the tribal chief in that state where he's just like destroyed?
Yeah,
like you never saw it for those years of him being on top. It's such a meaningful picture when he's like laying just belly flat on the mat, just out. It's like, okay, now he needs help. Where's Jimmy? Where's Jay? Where's tribal chief? Where's Sammy? You know, like now the ball is rolling. When he put on the lay after the Superman punch and the spear, I was like, oh no, are we just gonna do this week in, week out for like a month and a half? But then the switch, it's like, yes. And I've already seen people on the internet being like, well, the one who looks strong here is Fatu. Solo looks like an idiot. I'm like, at this point, you should know that's what they're booking, right? He's the false tribal chief. He's not good enough. That's the point. He's this fake dude, and his hounds do the work for him. So this just does that even better. And like you said, Solo did a phenomenal job tonight. Yeah. And like you said, last time Roman's been like that, I don't know. Great facial expressions from him to really sell, how powerful this dude Bloodline is. It's funny that they're so powerful with no Tonga Loa. Yeah, I didn't miss him. yeah. We could just keep him away for a little bit. Shield powerbomb, I still really like that move. Like you said, Fatu's the heavy hitter. Tama Tonga is kind of like the workhorse for the group. Those three together work really well. As for the Roman being outnumbered, I kind of like the way they did it for like a week or two of like, hey, I'm still Roman Reigns. Yeah. I'm going to assert my dominance. And now it's like, okay, now the numbers game's starting to slowly catch up. And this was really impactful. This did a lot for me this week in a rivalry that like, yeah, Solo did his part. He made us miss Roman. Solo did his part. He's the cowardly tribal chief. I think some people maybe, like you said, kind of confuse that. They want him to be the assertive Roman Reigns of this group, and that's just not his character. No. But everybody played it so well, and I'm excited. Like, okay, now, like you said, the ball's rolling. Number game, where are we going? When do we get Jimmy? When do we get Heyman? When do we get Jay? Like, when do we get the Bloodline 2.0 adding? Because I'm sure as soon as they even up the numbers, boom. Yeah, another guy gets added. Not to mention the Bloodline is now going to be in the mix with Street Profits too a little bit. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be good matches that get involved with this too. So I completely agree. The ball's rolling and I can't wait. Cannot wait. Anyway, another good episode of SmackDown here. I felt like this was a step up. The first hour was a little but that second hour absolutely it banged the entire time. So good stuff there. Pop from all of us. As always, follow us on all of our socials at COD WrestlePod, COD WrestlePod. Listen to us wherever you get your podcast at Spotify, Apple, etc. And join our Discord if you want to come talk to us during Raw, SmackDown, PLEs, or just talk about wrestling in general. Linktree in bio. I'm Will. That's Brandon. We are the Cousins of Destruction Wrestling Podcast. We will see you next time.